Hey guys, welcome to Mara Shankar. I am Mara, and today we're going to be doing my October reading wrap up. I only read 3 books for the month of October. I feel like my mind has just been all over the place as far as like being able to stay focused enough to get through a book. Like, there's just been so many recent changes in my life, and like, first of all, I barely have extra time as a mother of four anyway, with a full time job and, still having to do everything, other things outside of that. So my time is already limited. And then, like, there was changes going on at work. So that, like, that's a change. And then it's a good change, but like, still, it's a change. And, there's just other factors. So I feel like I have not been like, um, I just feel like I just have not had the time to like just sit down and like enjoy a book, even an audiobook. Like, I definitely have time for an audiobook, but sometimes it's just hard, especially like if I'm like taking care of the kids or something like that. They're like asking me questions every 5 minutes and I'm constantly have to pause my audio, or they want to say, Mom, look at this, or, so having 4 different kids wanting you to look at 10 different reels every 2 seconds is just chaotic. Like, literally, all, even the baby, now that she, like, has her little videos that she's into, she's like, look at my video. Anyways, so yeah, I did read 3 books for the month of October. The first book we're going to start with is 107 Days by Kamala Harris. I do actually have the physical book. And here it is. Here's the back. And then she does have some pictures like within the book. There's like a few pages of, these are all pictures from like 107 days leading up into election day. So, great book. I did listen to it on audio, and she was just very straightforward about, what she went through. She didn't go like, I feel like she did such a classy way of doing it, which I mean, I guess she should have, like she was once running for presidency, but it wasn't like messy. There's like no tea. If somebody's like looking for tea, it's not a tea type thing. It's just a very straight, this is what I had to go through. Here's the logistics of things and, all of that. My favorite parts of the book were, first of all, before I say my favorites, the part of her journey that like kind of irritated me the most was like Biden. Like, Biden was just so, I don't even know. I want to say disconnected, but I'm not sure if that's the right word to use. But I just feel like he made the situation a little challenging for her in certain ways. And he was just getting on my nerves. But moving on to the parts of the book that really intrigued me was how she was very intimate about sharing how it affected her marriage, like between her and her husband. Like, I really loved how she shared that aspect of it. And then, as well as a little bit of background, like what she had to go through, like with her mother. So that made me, because I did not read her memoir. I don't know if it's her memoir, but I do know there's another book out. So I don't know if it's like her autobiography or like a memoir type deal. But with her sharing those aspects of herself, that makes me want to go listen to her memoir or whatever that book is that she has. So yeah, I definitely recommend reading 107 Days by Kamala Harris if you are a Kamala Harris a fan. Enjoyed it, and like, there was no bad blood in the book. Like, she really kept it classy, and I loved it. This book, like reading this, just made me love her even more. Like, cause you just get like a feel. It just made me feel more connected to her, and not that we really have to feel connected to someone to, respect. I'm not about to go there. But anyways, this made me like her even more. The next book I read, these are actually in order, I believe. I think these are in order. It should be in order. So the second book that I read is Cudi by Kid Cudi. This is his memoir, and I feel like he did a good job. I did listen to his memoir on audio because if you're new here, nonfiction is my favorite genre, but like within the nonfiction genre, mainly memoirs or like autobiographies, more specifically memoirs, are like my literally my favorite. And I absolutely love when people narrate their own memoir. And so he did narrate it himself. And I will say it was kind of hard for me to understand him. I don't know if it's like, you know, when somebody gets their teeth done and their words are slurred just a little bit. So I couldn't tell if it was like that type of vibe, or he did say in his memoir he did suffer from like a mini stroke from the drugs. And so I don't know if like that played a part in like if he has like an aphasia issue, but or that's just the way that he speaks, you know, like maybe he's just like a fast speaker and he just doesn't like fully pronounce his words. Because I mean, I've seen like certain videos of him where it was very easy to understand him, or I don't know, maybe he was just nervous reading his own story. But I found myself, because usually like my speed when it comes to audiobooks is 1.3. Anything exceeding that, it's just like I'm going to miss the point, I'm going to miss details. Like I can't exceed 1.3. Or if the narrator is naturally a fast speaker, then I have to tone it down a little bit. But mainly like 1.3 is like my safety net. But for him, I had to put him on normal speed. Like I usually never listen to an audiobook on normal speed because let's be real, like it's going too slow. But for him, he is somewhat of a fast talker on top of like his words being a little slurred or like harder to understand. So I would say like the first 6 chapters, I had to put him on normal speed. And then once I got like used to how, you know, he talks, then I was able to like crank it up. So that was the only thing, like my little like with the audiobook. But outside of that, like I really loved his memoir. It made me want to go watch the movie Intergalactic because I did already watch Intergalactic. I watched that a few times. That movie is so good. It's on Netflix. It's like a cartoon. It gives like trippy vibes. You know how, I mean, if you into Kid Cudi, then you already know what type of vibe he's coming with. But after reading that, it made me want to go watch the movie again as well as listen to his music. And I feel like you did such a good, I feel like a person does a good job with their memoir when it makes me want to, especially if they have like other works, or if there's some type of like creative or artist, it makes me want to like go pour into their work. That makes me feel like if I get that urge to want to go like explore your artistry even more, then I feel like you did such a good job on your memoir, because it just made me feel like connected to you, or made me feel like gave me like a deeper understanding as to like why you are the way you are, or where like your art was created from, like the inspiration and all that. So but he does mainly talk about he does go into detail about his drug habit, overcoming that, you know, the journey he had to go through. He's definitely a certified lover boy. Like I love that about him. Like I love to see men, specifically more so black men, because you know the odds are already stacked against him from like a societal standpoint, as well as like what a lot of our community has to go through. Like, you know, a lot of us come from like rocky childhoods. And so there's so many like challenges that black men have to face to be able to feel safe enough to surrender to love and to be able to love somebody. Because a lot of our black men don't have the emotional maturity or that capacity to be able to love a woman unconditionally, or even a man, if that's his choice, to love his partner unconditionally, just due to, you know, he may not have experienced that in his childhood, or it mainly comes from our parents, like how we witnessed love growing up. So I love that he is a certified lover boy, and no matter what, he still tried. And you know, that's his thing. Like he just is a family man and tries his best to just be the loving black man that he is. So I'm so happy for him that, you know, he found love, was able to marry his wife, And what else did he talk about? He talked about his music, of course. He did mention Kanye. He did mention the situation with Diddy. Diddy, first of all, he ain't about to get no play on my channel, okay? We're not going to talk about him, okay? Non-factor. So he talked about the situation with Diddy and Cassidy. He talked about his journey with custody with his child, and just how he overcame the challenges in his life. So love me a good transformational story, especially as it relates. Like, I really have like I don't know, I have a soft spot when it comes to like black men and their like transformations. I just really love to see them try their best to beat the odds, like you could try to beat the odds without, abusing people while trying to do so, like recognizing that you have a problem and trying your best to get to the other side. I absolutely love that. I love to see it. Okay, next book is, if y'all hear my belly growling, I do apologize because I am currently working on ASMR. Okay. So good. I have a blue slush Alani in there. That's my first time having that flavor. I usually only get cherry slush. I have had the pink. Is it called the pink slush? Whatever the pink can is, I've had that one. The peach, I don't know what the peach one is called, but I just know it's peach. The can is like blue and peach color. And then the witch's brew. I feel like my favorite, the ones that I gravitate towards the most is cherry slush and witch's brew. And then I will get like that pink one sometimes, or the peach one sometimes. But I do know I find myself picking up that cherry slush. And then if witch's brew is available, which is only during Halloween season, I'll get that. So yeah, I'm working on my Alani and I haven't ate breakfast yet. It's currently 10:11. So yeah, my belly's growling. I have to figure out what I'm going to eat. Okay, and the next book we have is Episodes, The Diary of a Recovering Madman by Gucci Mane. And he also does have an album. Like, it's very Gucci of him to one, drop a book and then drop a full album to go with the book. Like, it's not something that you like listen to in correlation with like reading the book, but it's just like the album is called Episodes, the book is called Episodes. So that's very Gucci of him, okay? And I did like the album. It's broken up into like two albums, like disc one, disc two. The first one is just like pretty much like the journey of a madman, and then the second disc is like his like a remix of like his old school classics kind of, and it had like Sexy Red on there. I can't remember who else was on there, but I just remember that first song on disc two of Sexy Red. I think I Love Her. I think she did that one, remix to that one. But anyway, so back to the book, Episodes, The Diary of a Recovering Madman by Gucci Mane. Once again, I love the book because this book is more so specifically because I did read his memoir. His memoir was good, but after reading this book, he held back so much information on his memoir. But of course, a memoir is just certain events that people want you to be aware of in their life. It's not like an autobiography where they're giving you like a strict timeline of certain things that happen in their life. So memoir, they're just giving you a breadcrumbs of, what they want you, pretty much maybe core foundations in their life that shaped who they are as a person. But after reading Episodes, so if you read his memoir, I feel like you should read this book because I feel like both of them, it just ties everything together and you get a better understanding of why certain things happen in his life. And because if you just read his memoir, you're just thinking like, oh, he a hood, he's that way because of his childhood and, what do, and I feel like with Episodes, you just get a deeper understanding of why, not that it's okay of what he did, but you get a deeper understanding of why he was behaving that way. It's not an excuse, but of course you get a better understanding. So pretty much in this book, it's following his diagnosis of schizophrenia and bipolar. And he doesn't really go into details like specific diagnosis. Like he doesn't give you like his, of course, that's like, I mean, low key a HIPAA violation, but I mean, I guess it's not a HIPAA violation if you are yourself telling your own diagnosis. So he don't really go into detail about that part, but he just gives you like he's been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar. And I think he first got diagnosed in 2013. So that's why maybe other people have already known this, but I didn't know that he suffered from a mental health condition. And so then he like breaks the timeline down of like the different episodes he's had and why he's had those episodes. He talks about his mom trying to get what is it what is it called when somebody like the same thing that Britney Spears had. His mom tried to do that to him, and thank God, his lawyer helped him fight that off. So then he talks about why his relationship with his mother was estranged, and then I think like a disconnect between him and his older brother. Of course, he talks about his wife. I like how in the beginning of each chapter, like somebody in his life that's close to him gives a brief description of how he is when he's having an episode, or how pretty much their perspective on how they have experienced him with, his diagnosis. And I like that. I kind of, he doesn't really share too much about his wife, like, like her perspective. I would say towards the end of the book, I think it was like his last most recent episode. I think they was like the episode that he had on September 13th. I think the date, but I don't remember what year it was. I think it was like around the time when he was popping off on Twitter and stuff. She explained the kidnapping of like what she had to do to kidnap him to, for him to go get help for that episode. So pretty much he's just telling you of like what he's had to experience since being diagnosed in 2013. In his episodes, how he feels when he's having those episodes, his patterns, behaviors, how it affects people around him, how it has messed up relationships in his life. And so I'm proud of him. Like, I mean, of course, it's not easy to deal with somebody like this because he can get really aggressive. Like it sounds like when he has episodes, he can be really aggressive, not in the sense, well, yeah, mainly towards like the other men. He was like aggressive toward other men because he hears voices, and which distorts him being able to discern a situation properly. And, as somebody who grew up in the hood, he's just naturally aggressive already. And so, the voices that he has is like telling him wrong things. But I would have liked, I think that they should do like another book for like his wife's perspective of like, and maybe she doesn't want to do that because out of just the safety and like protection of her husband, and like at the end of the day, like, why does it matter? But I have seen like a lot of therapists reacting to the Breakfast Club interview, because he did do a Breakfast Club interview with his wife. Great interview. And a lot of therapists was saying like they hope that his wife has a therapist for being his therapist pretty much, or taking care of him, because it could be it's a very big challenge, and it could be emotionally taxing to have to deal with someone like this, because she's more than just his partner. She's his caretaker. She's his therapist. Like, she's doing so much for them. And while he does give his wife the space to be able to do this easier, like, it's like she still needs help dealing with someone who has a mental health issue. And so I personally would want to hear more from her, but I could tell like she's a little bit more guarded. Like she just really loves her husband. And I mean, it's no different than, I guess, if you have a child that has some type of, is mentally ill in any capacity, you just want to protect them at all costs. And so maybe that's why, she's just so guarded and would not really want to speak on certain things. And then she said that she has not read the book because it just triggers her. And then there are certain things that he said that triggers him. So maybe her, sharing her thoughts or opinions or what she has to go through could possibly trigger him into an episode. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it's a great book if you're someone into psychology, or if you are someone who has a partner who has been diagnosed or dealing with someone who has been diagnosed. Then I think it'll just be a good, like, relatable piece of content to listen to. And I think it's also good for other Black men in the community, especially young Black men, especially our Black men who are still in Black communities where they don't have a lot of resources, or yeah, a lot of resources, and they're also struggling in these type of households that in poverty, and just being exposed to a lot of Black trauma in their community. And right now they don't have the resources to be able to know how to mentally navigate what they're currently going through. I think this is a really good for them, if they're able to get their hands on the book, or just for older Black men as well to not be ashamed. And also, like, for us Black women to be able to learn how to hold a space for each other. Not that you have to, like, sacrifice your whole being like his wife does. I mean, this is his wife. That's their business. But not that you have to sacrifice who you are to make someone else's life easier, but just to be more understanding, and not so, trigger someone even more, or add to the trauma by being, our choice of words or how we treat them, or, I mean, as at the end of the day, is men and women, especially in the Black community, Black men and Black women, like, we have to do a better job at how we handle each other, because at the end of the day, all of us have, not all of us, but majority of us have experienced Black trauma in some capacity. Maybe not through childhood, but maybe through, maybe dating other people or having family members, in some way, shape, or form. We have encountered Black trauma, and a lot of us definitely have experienced Black trauma in our childhood, which strongly shapes who we are as an adult. And it's not, that doesn't give us a pass to be able to treat people like crap, or not make an effort to try to hold space for other people. But it just gives us a better understanding of why we should just be more supportive of each other. But anyways, I was going to do a book haul really quick of all the books that I recently got from Dollar Tree, but maybe I'll do that in a different video. But to close out the video, so the books that are still in limbo for me, that are just still open and I haven't finished reading it, is Communion by Bell Hooks, The Female Search for Love, and then also The Wilderness by Angela Flournoy. I'm not really going to state my opinion on these right now, because maybe I'll try to finish them. I don't know. And then what else do I have on Libby? Oh, and then I also have King by Jonathan Egg. I don't know how to say his name. But yeah, I have King, A Life, that I have not even started yet. So those are the books that I have in limbo. Oh, and also Raina, our good sis here in the book community, Raina Swan, she has a novella called what is it called? Never See Me? Or let me see. You Never Know. You Never Know by Raina Swan. She, our good sis, released a book. I mean, she has other books, but I think her other books are kids' books. So I think this might be her first adult book, but don't quote me on that. So here it is. And it's like a spooky novella, so I need to finish that. I'm also in the middle of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So yeah, we shall see. Ooh, excuse me. What I end up reading for the month of November. I do see that people is doing nonfiction November. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to commit to any like TBRs or anything. I don't want to commit to anything besides just being present. Like, like there's already so many like to-do lists that I have to do personally, and then to create another list, like I just don't want to commit to any TBRs. I don't want to give like, oh, you should read this, but like I just don't want to do that. I just want to go with the flow. I just want to allow myself to be right now. Like I just don't want to constantly be doing. I also want to just be able to be still, to be able to discern the lesson that is being given to me by God, because I do feel like I'm going through like a learning season, and I'm trying to figure out what that is, because I am very uncomfortable. And you know, like when you're uncomfortable, that just means that you're going through some type of growth spurt spiritually. And we don't want to miss that lesson of what we're being taught, what we're being shown, for the next season in our life. So I'm just pretty much going with the flow and being able to listen to what is being told to me by God, and listen to myself as well, of like what my body needs. And yeah, so I've been talking you guys this ear off enough. Those are the books that I read in the month of November. And it's been a minute since I feel like I sat down or did anything bookish. So yeah, I need to drop you guys a bookish vlog, but I just haven't been like in a bookish vibe, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video.